9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Say his name and he appears. I believe it said.
What's up, beautiful people? Happy Monday. It's December 8th, 2025, the year of our Lord, and it's Monday night, which means it's time for the Monday Nightmare post-show recapping tonight's Monday Night Raw. Sorry I'm getting to you guys late. I know the show ended maybe about an hour and a half ago. I work Monday Night Football, so I work the NFL, and the game just ended. We actually ended up in overtime. Great game. If you're a football fan, you saw our reigning Super Bowl champs take an L. All's well in the football world when the Eagles take an L as a Commanders fan. And, of course, the Chiefs lost last night, where Raw was stationed at tonight in Kansas City, Missouri. I want you guys to fill in the chat because there's a lot to discuss here as we are getting closer and closer to the final match of John Cena on Saturday's night's main event versus Gunther. But I'm going to be frank here, and I'm just going to cuss because I might cuss a lot this episode. It was a really weird fucking Monday Night Raw. Not going to hold you. Very odd. Things were placed in weird parts. And there were hard resets. And I feel like as a fan who's been watching the program all year, we should feel kind of insulted. Like our intelligence was insulted in different moments of the show. But we're headed towards Royal Rumble season in Saudi Arabia. Maybe a hard reset is needed. But this was such a strange Monday Night Raw. Like, action aside, like the segments were so different, I would say, coming off War Games, where I was actually in attendance last weekend. But we started the show with our last time is now tournament winner, Gunther. Very strong promo, very strong entrance to the ring. And he said everything that you would expect him to say. No fluff. He heralded John Cena as the greatest of all time, the greatest sports entertainer, but he was very clear that he's not the greatest in-ring performer of all time, and that this weekend he's going to make John do the thing that he never did, which is give up. All the years, 23 years of hustle, Lord, respect will end this weekend because he's going to make John give up. He's going to beat up John. He's going to bully him. He's going to rough him up. He's going to choke him out. And it sounds like it's not a finish where we want to see John just pass out. I feel like that's burying the lead here. I feel like Gunther wants John to physically say, I quit or I give up, which I don't think John's going to do that. We'll see. It's a great promo to lead in because this is everything we wanted. The last time is now turning. We want to believe that, hey, are we going to see Super Cena one last time, or are we going to get a villain just take away everything we've seen the past 2 decades plus? I think fans that really wanted a young and up-and-coming star to face John, me, myself included, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at Gunther being the final opponent. I think it makes the most sense. He's the most menacing person, and he's going to put on the best match with John Cena. At the same time, I still think it's a 50-50 game. I think it's a 50-50 game. I think it makes sense for John to win and go out on top and beat the bully that just ran through the tournament. And at the same time, I can also see Gunther manifesting and carrying out everything he said. I think it's a 50-50 game. Either way, it'll open the show, and then we'll get to what John wanted, which is to put the spotlight on the other talent in WWE and the rest of the talent of tomorrow's next generation. But I think Gunther's promo is strong. I think we knew Gunther was a favorite coming in, but it also is kind of cheap because I don't think we really needed a tournament if we were going to just allow Gunther to be the guy here either. So, I mean, that's one thing I will not be shy about. I don't think Gunther needed a tournament to showcase he was going to be the final opponent for John. We could have got here another way, a promo, maybe attacking John in one of his last matches. Maybe he could have been the one that cost John the IC title against Dom. I don't know. But either way, we'll have that match. I thought it was cool that we got like a little clock counting down the days, 5 days left. Hopefully WWE continues to post that on socials throughout the week where we get 4, 3, 2, 1 till the final day on Saturday for Saturday night's main event. Of course, we'll have a post show and watch along taking in all the action on Saturday. Make sure you're locked in for that. First match of the night, Io versus Kairi Sane, which feels like it should be a bigger deal than it was. Amazing match. Of course, Asuka and Rhea Ripley were both ringside, and we're really doing a deep women's tag team division again, which I feel like we were here right before WrestleMania season. And it seems like we're back with more tag teams that are vying for the tag team goal before anything else, kind of making sure we keep that division relevant. Asuka cheated a couple times for Kairi. We saw some great in-ring action. That bridging German suplex on the apron. Oh my God. It just speaks volumes to how strong of a singles wrestler Io Sky is. And it's a shame that she's in the tag team division for now because we can really be running like a best of 5 with her and Stephanie. But either way, this is where we're at. Her and Rhea, and keep in mind, Rhea is going to be helping out Priest this Friday, are aiming for tag team gold and revenge because she got kicked out of the Damage Control. Like, whatever. Either way, Io did pick up the win against her former friend Kairi Sane with Over the Moonsault after Asuka was taken out of the equation. And Rio stood tall to end that segment. Not a bad match. Pretty sure we'll see Asuka versus Rhea next Monday, something like that. Backstage, we saw the Vision talking with Paul, Braun, and Bronson about being smacked up by Rey Mysterio last week and says, hey, we got to do something about it. Paul Heyman is really emphasizing that Logan Paul is part of the Vision. I thought that segment was cool. Him giving him the brass knuckles, him giving him a vote of confidence saying like, hey, like these two guys got your back. Logan saying like, I want them to know I got their back too. Vision seems like a faction that does not have a leader, which could be a good thing. All these are superstars that are youthful, will be main eventers for the next 5-10 years. So we'll see how that goes. This was a very Vision-heavy episode. But Logan Paul wanted revenge on Rey, and Rey was supposed to do action with Finn Balor this week, which I've got to believe the end game there is still going to be Mysterio versus Dom, AAA Mega Championship at some point. But either way, when Rey got to the ring to take on Finn, he was attacked by Logan Paul. Logan Paul was putting the paws on Rey until he eventually Rey got some comeuppance for a second, and it seemed like Rey was going to get the upper hand on Logan. I don't know why we're doing Logan versus Rey. I really can't fathom why, but eventually Rey fell prey to the brass knuckles, and the masked man that showed up at Survivor Series showed up for the first time tonight to aid Logan Paul. Very weird. And I know people are spiraling in their minds. I see all the tweets saying like, hey, the guy's posture was a little bit different than we saw at War Games. Could this be a black man? Is it Montez Ford? One, I think it's going to be a number of waves of different body compositions that we see until we get the final reveal. It's definitely not Seth Rollins. How would you guys feel if it was Jake Paul? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, especially since it was like one of those things where he made the save for Logan twice tonight. What if it was his brother? Would that piss everybody off? By the way, helped Logan get the upper hand on Rey. Rey gets knocked out with the brass knuckles. Logan standing there, and almost seemingly way too late, LA Knight, his music hits. He makes a save. Logan clears the ring. And LA Knight says he wants a match with Logan Paul tonight. Here's where, as a fan, your intelligence should be insulted a little bit, just because, like, where you been at? Yes, you were in the last time is now tournament, but like you had the most beef with the Vision. You had the beef with Seth Rollins, which caused you to have beef with Jay. And it's like we took a long hiatus to get back here. And it's like, oh, like I subbed. I tapped to Gunther, got choked out. But I remember I had some other beef over here. It's like we just went around the block so weird to get here. It's like, oh yeah, I see Rey Mysterio getting beat up. That's a Hall of Famer. I'm gonna come save him because the Vision don't need to be on top no more. It's like you got your whole War Game spot taken, and it's like there was no peep of you. But like, yeah, this would set you off and made you mad. Either way, and I guess the de facto main event of the evening made official: Logan Paul, LA Knight. Just so he can get his lick back against the Vision. So it seems like LA Knight's going to be doing war with the Vision again. I don't know. I've got nothing there. Now I guess Rey Mysterio is going to have beef with Logan Paul. I'm pretty sure that's going to parlay into that. And yeah, Bozak, Rey versus Finn essentially got cut because Finn never came to the ring. We saw Finn backstage with Dom during that whole segment where they're just listening to Liv kind of be surprised at Raquel's actions and proclaim herself and Roxanne going after the tag team titles. Like I said, really fucking weird Monday Night Raw, bro. Really weird. And I don't know what to draw from it. It's like hard reset around the Last Time Is Now tournament and the finals this upcoming weekend. I don't get it. Cool things that happen outside of this, and I'm definitely jumping around. We saw Obafemi in the audience. We saw Javon Evans in the audience. We saw Sol Ruka in the audience. Of course, they'll all be in action on Saturday night's main event. We had the tag team title match next. War Raiders, who just appeared out of nowhere, taking on Phenomenal Lee for the tag team titles. I thought this was a good match. There were parts that could have been better, maybe some chemistry issues, kind of sloppy. But it felt like they were really trying to position Dragon Lee as a threat in the tag team. If you saw the part where AJ Styles was essentially eliminated from the match, Dragon Lee going back and forth with Eric and Ivar. He even tried to pick up Ivar. I think that was a bad idea. I respect that he tried to go for it twice just to show that he can do it, but it didn't work out the way they wanted. And there was a weird moment before Ivar hit that moonsault and they had to break up. Like I could have sworn that Eric tagged in. He walked into the ring to tag himself in before Ivar hit that moonsault. Great shit, by the way. Love seeing big men moonsaults. And it's like Ivar still took the pin. AJ made the save. It was weird. It was like I'm nitpicking, but just these small things that were like, I can't overlook that in tag team wrestling. But Phenomenal Lee, with the New Day berating both teams throughout the match because they were upset they lost last week. Kind of cheering for the War Raiders, but berating everybody else. AJ Styles, his phenomenal forearm, I believe, on Eric, picks up the pin. But it was a hard-hitting match. It reminds you that the War Raiders were a former tag team, that they have a very strong moveset for tag team moves. I think they hit I think it's called the War Raid on the outside of the ring to Dragon Lee. The spot where Ivar hits that side splash onto the actual side of the ring right there. That's all dope stuff to remind you how dope the War Raiders were. So I hope the same way we are emphasizing the women's tag team division, we're doing that for the men now. Because it seems like the men's division is going to get stronger now. After the match, War Raiders cleared the ring. Phenomenal Lee is there, and the New Day come in to confront Phenomenal Lee. What happens? And this is where I say the show is even more weird. Uso's music hits, Jey Uso that is, and now we're yeeting down to the ring. We're yeeting down to the ring. Jey Uso picks up a baby. He yeets with the baby. This lasts for minutes, by the way, while the other 5 men are just in the ring. Very random. It felt so out of place that I put it in our WWT chat. I was like, this just feels off. Like, based on what I saw last week with Jey throwing a temper tantrum and leaving the arena, not even wanting to speak with Jackie and saying like, hey, I guess those titles look better on Roman, like Roman said. It's like we just did a complete 180 here. Like, I'm supposed to forget temper tantrum Jey, and now we in the tag division again. Now, this was crazy. If y'all remember, I want to say it was around the summertime. I forget the match Jey had, but we did the Gunther stuff back and forth, and that it was actually rumored that the fall was supposed to be a Usos reunion. And I think we kind of teased it at some point, and we just never did it. Maybe that's because they announced the last time is now tournament and they put Jay in it. But it seems like we put that on ice and said, hey, we got to do this now. Let's do it. Let's do it now. And basically the promo was just Jimmy saying, hey, after Jay was in his feelings last week, I called my brother and said, hey, I don't want to see you like that. What we doing, Oos? And it's like, we're going to get back together. And then they just cut this very strong promo against Phenomenal Lee saying like, hey, we coming for that gold. We got to get our licks back. We got to get back on top. We want the tag team gold. Y'all don't know us yet. We're the greatest tag team of all time. But the New Day know us from their long-standing rivalry. Hey, I don't know, man. If this gets us another run of New Day versus Usos, I'm here for it. I'm emphatically believe that the New Day's heel run has been mishandled outside of the actual turn on Big E, which seems like it was years ago. That was earlier this year. No payoff for it. Zero payoff for that. And this is also the New Day's 10-year anniversary. And people will forget that because that was earlier this year and we did nothing with them outside of a brief tag team title run. But it seems like the men's tag team division is getting beefed back up. The Usos have announced that they are now back officially into the tag team division as the Usos. Don't know if that means they'll go back to their OG music, if they'll continue to do the yeeting. But seems like the Usos will eventually get a tag team match against Phenomenal Lee, and I expect them to take those belts off Phenomenal Lee because AJ Styles got shit to do. And AJ Styles, if this is going to be his last, however, 5-6 months left, he got shit to do. TNA is going to be on AMC beginning of the year. I expect AJ Styles to do a stint there and really close out his career the way he wants as a single star. I think Dragon Lee has got enough rub. He can feud with Dom and AAA for a bit and be a solid hand in the men's division as a singles wrestler for the IC belt as well. But very awkward segment, very weird to announce the Usos into the tag team division right there. But I have to believe that it's just to make sure the tag team division is a little bit more well-rounded going into Saudi season. Not Saudi season, but WrestleMania season, Royal Rumble, of course, Elimination Chamber. Got to figure out where the Creeds are at. Don't know where the Creeds have been. I expect them to be back in action. How come Otis and Tozawa can't get a tag team title shot? If we can just conjure up the War Raiders out of nowhere, why can't Otis and Tozawa get tag team title opportunities? I hope this is a sign of all these teams coming back together, and maybe, just maybe, it leads to Elimination Chamber, the tag team version, because those are always cool when we do that. But I thought that was hella weird segment. But at least the tag team division is being served for a change. Speaking of weird, we did hear from Stephanie Baker, who spoke about being at the top of the food chain in the women's division, how this is a deep women's division here on Raw, and she's at the top of it all. And she was making sure if people were reminded of that she's not a weak champion, that she wants to face everyone, which I'm just going to throw this out here. We should be doing Bird Lady and Baker by now. Hopefully, Royal Rumble, something happens, but I hope that's the match that happens early 2026. But this was weird for a number of reasons. She took the mic from Jackie, was talking about how strong of a champion she is. She was interrupted by Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella says they're not done yet, that she demands a rematch. And then Raquel Rodriguez just comes out and just attacks Nikki Bella and calls her shot. Calls her shot right there. Now, keep in mind, if you've paid attention to the singles work, not the singles, but the tag team work, when Nikki and Stephanie did like their brief tag team stuff against the Judgment Day, though that in-ring action between Raquel and Stephanie was gorgeous. Great stuff. Great stuff. I was looking forward to this rivalry. I'm happy that we're going to get a match between Raquel and Stephanie. I believe it's official now. But the weird part is just how we wrote off Nikki Bella. I can't believe that Nikki is going to take shots at the Judgment Day ladies or try to get her lick back against Raquel. I don't know if this is a way to bring Brie back at some point against the Judgment Day ladies, put them in the tag team division too. It just felt weird. It felt like somebody being wrote off a soap opera in a very lackluster fashion. Maybe it was the crowd in Kansas City, but it just felt off. Shout out to Raquel for wearing a Houston Texans shirt after the Texans beat the Chiefs the night before on Sunday Night Football. But it just felt odd. She told Stephanie name and time and place, and she would love to kick her ass. She's now next in line for La Primera. Backstage, Liv Morgan was very surprised by these actions because it seemed like she was planning for Raquel and Roxy to go for the tag titles again, and for her to actually take out Stephanie after her walk past Stephanie last week on Monday Night Raw. She said, and this is where the cracks in Judgment Day start, because she said, I can't wait to see you become women's champion. I'm just a little bit surprised that you didn't run it by me. And Raquel says, I didn't know we had to run things by you in the Judgment Day. There are no leaders in the Judgment Day. But what's even weirder is how Liv looked at Roxanne and said, well, since she's going for the world title, that means you and I can go for the tag team titles. Which, if you remember, don't insult our intelligence as fans, WWE. Roxanne and Liv, before Liv got hurt, had like the little beef love triangle thing over Dom, and like we're just completely overlooking that. And now they're besties. In fact, Liv escorted Roxanne to the ring in action against Bird Lady in the next match of the night. I believe before that we saw a vignette on Maxine Dupree, which Maxine hasn't been in action since winning the IC title off Becky Lynch. But I like that we're showcasing her rugged edge in the dungeon. Pretty much her just calling women out and saying, like, give me another one, and just tapping them out. So I hope this builds her character up, but also it showcases that she's ready for the fight. And I believe her challenger is going to be Ivy Nile. And if you want to make a statement, I hope she really doesn't just beat Ivy Nile, kind of her former friend, but I hope she makes Ivy Nile tap. I hope she makes Ivy Nile tap to really put in motion that she's a fighting champion, but also puts in motion that she can actually work all these styles that she's been learning from Natty. Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez, which to me, it's close. Io and Kyrie was dope, but I would say this was the match of the night. Two women that work very well together, and actually, shout out to them. I hate that clip, but shout out to the Bird Lady because this was a badass match, and it reminded me how strong she was as the inaugural Intercontinental Champion, and all she needed was a little character development, and maybe Becky brought that out of her, and maybe Bayley has continued to bring that out of her in this women's tag division. But this show shows you just like the possibilities of like 2027, 2028, when you can have a WrestleMania main event match with like Roxanne Perez and Lyra Valkyria for the women's title, just because they've done this ad nauseum in NXT, and this just shows how strong both women are in ring. Like Lyra is amazing in ring, and once she gets her shine to actually go into singles action again, I think she'll be able to prove that more and have more staying power as a character. But this was a match where Liv was trying to get involved. Bayley tried to take Liv out. Liv did just enough to thwart Lyra for Roxanne to hit Pop Rocks. Ball game. Roxanne gets a win over Lyra Valkyria. I think that's Roxanne's first win in a while, too. At least a singles win. So it was good to see. I think this will parlay into more, but Lyra and Roxanne standing tall at the end of the match, showing that the Judgment Day is strong and that they're going to be coming for the tag team titles, which might not be a bad thing because those two ladies going to eat that entrance every single time. They're going to eat that camera angle together every single time. So good stuff from the Judgment Day. The ladies of the Judgment Day, that is. We didn't have much from Dom. I don't think JD was there tonight, or Finn. Finn never came to the ring. So it's good to see that we are showing some parity in women's division from all over. And it's probably going to come to a head in the Royal Rumble. And I can't wait to see what it's going to look like. All right, so our de facto main event, and this is where things get even more weird. LA Knight versus Logan Paul. It was a match, and just weirdness, man. Weirdness all around. Again, I don't know why LA Knights all of a sudden back to feuding with the not the Judgment Day, with the Vision after like seemingly being off that for a month and a half, couple months. Logan Paul, who rarely works on Monday Night Raw, so good to see him in action. But the way this match ended was the Masked Man, again, with the stomp on the announcer's table to LA Knight, allowed Logan Paul to hit his patent frog splash, and pick up a win over LA Knight. And Tessitore made a good point. It took 5 men to defeat LA Knight. So Breakker and Bronson at the ring, Paul Heyman trying to distract, Logan Paul still here, Masked Man, who may or may not be affiliated with the Vision. I think it's somebody who is trying to get the attention of Paul Heyman, to get the Paul Heyman rub, whoever it may be. Whether you feel like it's Austin Theory, whether you feel like it's Montez Ford. I'm even going to throw Logan Paul's name in the mix. It could just be his brother, because the Masked Man helped Logan Paul twice tonight. It was just weird. Very weird. And even the ending of how this all parlayed out, very weird ending. Of course, you made the Vision look strong, but like nobody that countered the Vision, including the Usos in this, came out to help LA Knight. Roman's not around. Punk's not around. And LA Knight just pretty much got his ass beat for like, let's just call it 15 minutes to close Monday Night Raw. That's how we ended Monday Night Raw. The man took a spear. The man took 3 tsunamis, 2 in ring. And then we got a fiery promo from Bron Breakker. Two weeks in a row, Bron Breakker cut a demon of a promo, just like his uncle used to cut, talking about how he wants the best in the world, CM Punk, the person that was feared. And he kind of blurred the lines here between the fourth wall of like what's real, what's not, saying he doesn't believe that in this goody two-shoes CM Punk, he's waiting for the guy that nobody likes backstage, the guy that's an asshole, but also the guy who was one of the best wrestlers to ever lace up a pair of boots. Because if January 6th comes and that guy doesn't show up, he's going to beat CM Punk easily. That was the crux of Breakker's promo. But he even threw some personal jabs in there, saying that he's not only going to take his title, he's going to might as well take his wife while he's at it, which I would love to see an Izzy Dame tweet in response to that comment. But Bron Breakker was talking real spicy on the mic, and it sounded so Steiner-coded. It sounded like the most Steiner promo you would ever hear, full of intensity and just saying like it's going to be spear 1, 2, 3. Now, in the midst of this, he even called Punk a crackhead on Netflix. That was crazy too. And if you go back and look at that part of the promo, it looked like Paul Heyman covered his mouth because he didn't approve of him saying that, or because he was trying to conceal his laughter. He might have broke Paul Heyman on live TV. By the way, fiery promo, and you would expect Punk or some protagonist to be here and make a save, and it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was weird as hell. You see LA Knight, after being escorted backstage, pretty much getting his ass beat, telling the officials and security like, hey, I'm not done. I'm not done fighting. And then Logan Paul and Bronson Reed go backstage and beat his ass some more. They put him through a table, and then he gets tsunami'd on the top of a car, which I don't think we've seen that type of spot since Bronson did it to Seth Rollins. So that should effectively take out LA Knight. I don't know. I'm thinking until the Royal Rumble, he should be done. But we went backstage, and we never came back to the ring. We never came back and saw Paul Heyman and Bron Breakker exit the ring. We never saw anybody come out to confront Bron Breakker. No CM Punk, no nothing. It felt like such a weird ending to Monday Night Raw. I'm telling you, like, it was wild to see that. It was just LA Knight versus the Vision Knight. Essentially, that's what it was. Tonight was LA Knight versus the Vision, and the Usos saying like, hey, we're done with bloodline stuff. Jay, I'm done chasing the world title. I don't care anymore. I'm back with my brother. We in the tag team division. It felt like such a hard reset that it's going to take my mind to the rest of this month to process what I just saw. But effectively, LA Knight's done. I didn't think we'd see the Masked Man again into like a PLE or something more meaningful, but he made his appearance felt twice tonight. and people are speculating that it's now Montez Ford, maybe just by the stance, posture, the shoes, body composition, whoever it is. I think it's somebody that is trying to audition for the Vision. But like, I'm going to throw a curveball out there. What if it's not? What if it's not Austin Theory? Like we keep saying Austin Theory. I think Montez Ford does a good job of portraying different characters on social media. I would love to see Montez Ford actually get a singles push. What if it's like one of those things where we're splitting the Creed brothers and it's Julius Creed? Would anybody be mad at that? I still feel like it makes more sense that it would be Ethan Page, who had legitimate beef with CM Punk earlier this year. But Ethan Page is very busy with NXT and AAA. I will say I like that it's keeping people conversating and keeping us guessing. But I hope it's somebody that is not on the tip of everyone's tongues. I really hope that it's like such a curveball into who it is that we just have to accept it, that it's so unexpected, that it's such a surprise. And it's like, hey, we are coordinating this guy as the next up, and we're going to pair him with these other superstars that show you this already. But we're going to show you that this guy is the guy. And maybe it's somebody that will eventually be the leader of the Vision too, based on who it might be. But I hope it is like a hard character shift for somebody and not somebody that is expected. But like I said, we're on the road to Saturday Night Main Event coming up on Saturday, and we will be doing a watch along and a post show. And then we're going to double back with you. We're going to be doing a end of the year award show live in studio on Sunday, which I'm pretty sure TK will put you guys up on in the next coming days. We'll be doing some NXT talk maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, as well as WT Live Wednesday and Friday before giving you our predictions for Saturday Night Main Event and giving you obviously that watch along and post show. But I appreciate you guys from rocking with me. It's been a long day. I've literally been working all day. I'll try to be with you guys on Wednesday for WT Live, but keep in touch because CEO Wednesdays is going down on Wednesday. If you know what I mean. I do have some thoughts on Mercedes dropping that Ring of Honor title, but appreciate y'all rocking with me. I will give you guys my socials this time. Said is the answer on the gram as well as the Talk app, TikTok. Said says on Twitter. And of course, you can find me here on WWT. This is your mayor. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. It's been an eventful Monday night. And this is always your number one network, Women's Wrestling Talk, number one network on the planet. See you guys next time. Peace.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling network on the planet.